Welcome back to a Madman Big Finish review, a video series where I review and discuss some of the latest Big Finish releases. For this video, I'm going to be talking about Conflicts of Interest, the latest in the 5th Doctor Adventures range. Now, this box set is comprised of 2 stories. There's also a bonus download audiobook, or interludes as they're referred to as, that comes with it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. I'm going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible with our first story, Friendly Fire by John Dorney. When the TARDIS needs to reset itself, the Doctor, Nyssa and Tegan find themselves having to fill time on a space hub filled with numerous attractions. This pleases Tegan and Nyssa no end, but the Doctor is more interested in visiting an alien friend of his living on a nearby mining planet and is able to persuade his friends to join him. But on arrival, his friend is nowhere to be found, and the locals are more than slightly unwelcoming. With limited options for departure, and a hostile populace that may be in a lot of trouble. Sometimes true monsters are found in the strangest places. Now, I will say, as the box set as a whole, if you're looking for a fun time, this is not the box set for you. There's no fun in these box sets, but that doesn't mean the box sets are bad. This first story, Friendly Fire, I really enjoyed it. It was very engaging. Although I feel like I should have listened to the audiobook first, Gobbledygook, because the character in there, Vela, is central to this story. I don't feel like it's somewhat necessary to listen to the interlude first, but I feel like if I had listened to it first, it would have helped a bit more with the Doctor wanting to go see Vela, the Doctor's friendship with this character that ties into the plot of this story. So I think it would have helped a bit more if I listened to the interlude first, but I don't think it's somewhat necessary. I still was fine with Friendly Fire as it is, and feel like I just had to do extra homework for this now. Great, I read it wrong. I listened to the story wrong. I didn't feel like that with it. But Friendly Fire itself, I was intrigued by it. I wouldn't say enjoy, because there's a lot of themes going around here that is kind of the basis of this box set, conflict being one of them. So you're not supposed to have fun with these stories. You're supposed to be intrigued, interested with what's going on. The antagonist, Reno, who's voiced by Alice Krieg, who most would know as the Borg Queen from Star Trek TNG. That's all I really know her from, and even then I haven't watched Star Trek aside from films. That's it. But I think she did a fantastic job. Very obviously the antagonist, which is how she's portrayed, but I still found that the antagonist the antagonist works as how they're intended. Everyone in the story works as they're intended, how they're supposed to move the plot along. But yeah, I found this story intriguing, very bittersweet ending, especially for the Doctor, and especially with Tegan. Tegan has a really kind of almost powerful moment at the end of this story in regards to the antagonists and what has happened in this story. I found fascinating. And bittersweet victories is a recurring theme that continues on to the second story. So I think we'll go into there with The Edge of the Wall by Jonathan Barnes. France in the summer of 1936. The village of Villy is in a state of contentment, tinged only slightly with unease. A kilometre away, construction is underway on a large underground fortification, part of the Maginot Line project, which has seen the building of a series of defences against future invasion. A young artist has arrived in the village to paint the landscape. Her name is Nyssa, and she has taken a room in the local nun, run in its owner's absence by a young Australian woman called Tegan. But she's not the only newcomer. A detective called the Doctor has just got in from Paris, and he has quite a mystery to solve. Now, just from the plot summary there, that's the synopsis of it, I was intrigued. It's okay, are we going to deal with they all just have forgotten who they are, and something's happened, they've forgotten who they are, they're they're now all these different roles, characters, whatever. And that's what it is for, like, at least the first part of the story. I found that fascinating. I found that intriguing. I really enjoyed that. The story as a whole, I really liked. I think I liked this one a bit more than Friendly Fire. I think I liked both stories kind of equally, but if I had to make a choice, I think The Edge of the War just slightly up a notch. But everything about it, the characters are fantastic. Armin Barbier, voiced by Philippe Boucher, really enjoy that character. The Count, fantastic, voiced by Alistair Petrie, who most would know from Sex Education. I know that was a big deal. There's just like Sex Education star in Doctor Who audio story. I'm just like, he was in Master, like. He was in the Eric Roberts Master audio series before, if I remember correctly. I think he played Magnus Drake, I believe. But yeah, I think another one I think is fantastic. It's intriguing. Again, another bittersweet victory for the Doctor and the team. If you know, for all you history buffs, France, 1936. That should be some good that should be some indicators of like where this story is set. The whole of like tinged only slightly with unease. You know, a kilometer away, they're building a series of defenses against a future invasion. You have a good idea of where this setting is and what I'm saying without spoiling it. With it being a bittersweet victory of them resolving what's happened. Why they don't know each other anymore, what's happened with their memories, all that stuff. It is hard to talk about without spoiling it, but yeah, if you're a history buff or you know certain events that happened in 1936, you'd understand why I say it's a bittersweet victory for the TARDIS team. But no, everyone, fantastic performances, really intriguing plot that keeps moving along. The cliffhangers really kept me going, especially the cliffhanger at part 2 where the Doctor thinks he's figured it out. The Doctor thinks he's figured out who the antagonist really is, like what they are, what's going on, and but nope, gonna throw a spanner in that, a wrench into the works. Nope, he's kind of wrong. It's something else entirely. I really enjoyed that. Then we come to our interlude, our bonus download audiobook, Gobbledygook by Fraser Lee, performed by everyone's favourite Sontaran, Dan Starkey. Now, this is a prequel to Friendly Fire. It focuses on one of the Fifth Doctor's adventures with Velar, the Batarian from Friendly Fire. Not to be confused with the Batarians from Mass Effect, you know, that certain species that Renegade Shepard runs just really enjoy. But this focuses on one of their adventures that Velar has with the Doctor, dealing with what they believe seems to be some kind of word virus. Something's changing all the words in all the books in this library, turning them into, as the title says, gobbledygook. It's just a fun word to say, isn't it? But no, I enjoyed the story. Even though I know what happens to Velar, I still felt it's weird because, like I said with this box set, there's no fun. If you're here for a fun time, you're not getting it with these stories, because it's all about conflict, bittersweet endings, like emotions, all of that, like tensions and all that. You're not going to have a fun time with this box set. But then you have Gobbledygook, which is nothing like the first, like nothing like these main two stories. So it's such a weird contrast to throw this kind of just bonus story that is just, now we're going to get everyone together. We're going to get all these students together. We're going to like find all the books that are like, have all this gobbledygook in them, and we're going to find out what's going on. And it's like, and then, like, nothing really bad happens in this story. Like, there's no, like, without, yeah, I can't really say much without spoiling it, but, like, yeah, like, the tone of Gobbledygook, even though it's, like, different because of it's narrated. It's narrated. It's performed by Dan Starkey, but the tone of it is just so different from the tone of Friendly Fire and The Edge of the Wall. It's really like apparent. So it's weird if you listen to Gobbledygook first, which is technically the prequel to Friendly Fire, then go into Friendly Fire. You're gonna get such a tonal like whiplash of just how different they are. I will say after listening to these two stories, it's something I kind of needed. I just needed something different, so I don't just feel like all down. It's like, man, people suck. People just, humans just really sometimes we just are the worst, aren't we? So I think it was a kind of a much needed addition to this box set. You just have to have something that is just tonally different from it. So if that was their intention, it worked. It really worked, especially with me. But yeah, I really enjoyed Gobbledygook. Fantastic, very interesting story. So if I were to rate Conflicts of Interest as a whole, I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. There's a very apparent theme going on, which I found very interesting, very engaging. Friendly Fire is great. The Edge of War, I really enjoyed The Edge of War. The Edge of War, I would say definitely was probably my favorite of the two stories. And Gobbledygook, even though it's a very different tone, I enjoyed for different reasons from this box set, from the main two stories in the box set. But that is it for this review. Thank you everyone for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out our live streams, check out any of my previous videos, and I will see you all in the next one. Ciao.